Hi, my name's Lily and welcome to Small Talk. This is the second part of my election special and here we're going to talk about the results. I'm just going to do it in a one-take reaction freestyle. I do have my laptop here which I'll glass down to because I want to make sure I've got the information correct. At the moment we have a lot of disinformation and I don't want to be adding to that. So, at the time of recording, which is 12:30 p.m. on the 9th of November in Barcelona, sunny Spain, or Catalonia, sorry, Joe Biden has won 290 electoral college votes, which means that he can now be called the president-elect. And he should be inaugurated in January, okay? So right now we should be seeing a transition of power between the Trump administration to the Biden administration, which will be coming in January. Notice my use of the word should. So, to become president, you need to secure 270 electoral college votes. Now, if you want to know all about what the electoral college is, my previous video goes into all of the details and all of the important information around this election. Remember, we also had the House of Representatives, the Senate and Congress going up for election. So I talk a lot more about the intricacies of that. I'll link it. So you need 270 electoral college votes and Biden has already clinched 290. Now, candidates need to map various routes to the White House. Now, that is ways of clinching certain states and able to enable them a path to get to the White House through the Electoral College. Now, this will mean banking on their bankable states, like the Republicans can bank on Oklahoma or Tennessee or Louisiana, and the Democrats can bank on New York and California. These are in their corner. But then they also need to be able to make inroads in other states, ones that often can go one way or another, ones that are usually critical to securing the presidency, like Florida. And there was also a special attention this year on the Midwest, the Rust Belt states like Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, who traditionally, they've often been blue states, the blue wall, but they have actually, they went to Trump in 2016 and did not turn out for Hillary Clinton. So eyes were on them. We also have Biden's running mate because he's won. We also have Madame Vice President Kamala Harris. Now Vice President-elect, sorry. And she's the first person of color to be Vice President and also the first woman. So that's a lot of firsts. And also her husband is going to be the second husband. So that's cool. Now, why did it take so long and, what's going on about it? I think we all thought we were going to go into an election night and be like, oh, we got the result tonight. Is Trump in? Is he out? What's Biden done? Was it a blue wave? Was it not? Well, it was none of that. We didn't get any of it, okay? So sorry if you stayed up. Well, sorry to myself, because I did. I think that, again, we need to talk about the different paths. And what happened is that Democrats possibly were a little bit over-optimistic going into election night and thought to themselves, okay, if we're able to get Florida, which is one of the first states announced, if we're able to get Florida, then Trump doesn't get the presidency. Because basically, when I'm talking about the different paths, Trump's path needed Florida. He needed Florida straight at the beginning to be able to continue. And so I think the Democrats thought, oh my God, imagine if we could deny him that. And they didn't, okay? Florida is a complicated state and the male Latino vote didn't turn out for Biden. They were not wooed by Biden. And so Trump kept the state. So it looked like momentum had been dashed on the night. But I really think that this is all of the sort of expectation we build around it. This was always going to be a complicated election. Now, then what happened? It suddenly stalled and it seemed like Trump was slightly in the lead. Now, this is because coronavirus has made this election special. We have had record-breaking mail-in votes, which were before the election. So basically, so that people could vote securely, mail-in voting was extended and there were lots of ways to get people to vote in a safe and secure way. Now, it has been contested. This has been something that Trump's been parroting on about since the summer. Oh, this is how fraud happens, when he's a mail-in voter himself. So that's a bit rich. But this is what he does, build a big enemy, make everybody insecure and turn on each other and no one knows their perception. Well, he did this about mail-in voting. Now, what happened on election night is that mail-in voting in many states is counted after the initial vote. So Republicans are more likely to vote on the day. So the initial figures looked better for Trump in some of the key states. But obviously, you then have record-breaking amounts of mail-in voters. These are real voters who are entitled to vote because they voted and sent it before election day. This isn't after the vote, which is what the whole illegal vote thing seems to come on, that people were able to send their votes after the election. That's not possible. And how are they doing that when he was complaining about it half an hour after polls closed? So, just have a look at that. Now, the key states, again, we've been looking at as the votes came in. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday that in the end Michigan and Wisconsin were called. Now, with those two states, Biden only needed one more, and I think everyone had been looking at Pennsylvania, but he didn't even need it because I think he secured Nevada in the end or something. Anyway, he pulled it off. He's got 290 already, and Georgia, which was so close, it's been called for a recount. Georgia's going to actually now go for a recount in a runoff in January. So that'll be January 5th. So if Georgia goes Biden's way, he actually gets 306 electoral college votes, which is the same as Trump. So, the illegal votes, I really think that we need to dismiss it. It's something that we shouldn't really be talking about. I think there are a lot of worries about the US election. I think there are things that maybe the system is not as robust as it used to be, but that's more about interference with, fake news and voter suppression and these sorts of things, not really about fraudulent mail-in voting. And also, if that was the case, that could affect maybe like a few hundred votes or up to a few thousand. This would be a huge conspiracy, a massive operation to be able to affect 4.5 million votes, which is what he won on a majority with in the end. I mean, it wouldn't have to affect that many, but you know what I mean. We're going to need 100,000 votes to have been affected for it to have gone a different way in that many states. It's a 3% margin in Nevada. These are big numbers. We're talking tens of thousands. So I think that we need to be really, really careful there. But, that's it. Trump hasn't won the election. He's trying to sue his way out of it. And this is the information that we're going to see. Does he have a leg to stand on? I'm not sure. Does the Supreme Court think he has a leg to stand on? Doesn't look like it at the moment. He talks about the Supreme Court, but I want to say it was very rare that it would get there. It's only happened once. Sure, it's in our recent memory, but that was 2000 with Bush and Gore, and it was about 500 and something votes in one state. The Supreme Court will rule on something very, very, very specific in one case, not Trump saying that there's fraud in possibly 10 states. Which, where, who? When you can show that, then we can have some kind of conversation on it. Anyway, the Republicans themselves, the moderates are saying that we need to protect the vote, so they're against Trump. But people on his team, obviously Trump goes down, he takes these people with him. I just hope American democracy doesn't go with it. As somebody who's interested in politics and has learned about the American democracy as being the ideal for checks and balances, I have had to stop watching the news because you see just a sledgehammer being taken to this institution, and it's going to be destroyed in confidence levels for generations. People are going to be left out of the democratic process and not trusting it for generations. And that's dangerous. This is also why I wish our own authorities in the UK, Boris Johnson and Dominic Raab, had actually answered the questions of, do you think every vote should be counted? Because that is the basis for a democracy. Ideology aside, we need to protect election integrity. Otherwise, how are we any different from the people in other parts of the world that we seem to wag our fingers at for conducting illegal elections or trying to rob the vote? Anyway, I hope you like this today. Please give me a like. I would love to see you again if you subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.